All right. Greetings. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. We were trying to get this technology down. Not my normal, and the Lord for my producer Jimmy Jam, because I still be trying to figure this out. So, greetings and welcome, or welcome back to those of you who are joining me. Send me a comment in the chat. So, for those of you who are watching live or who are going to watch the replay, several people told me that they were not able to join, but I asked them to check it out later. So, let's begin. So, dear Lord, please bless and encourage everyone watching and those who will watch the replay in Jesus' name. Amen. So, for the month of March, I have been talking about communication, how we speak, how we show up at the table, in our conversation, our responses, our reactions. I have more to come because March is not over. I've talked about such things as I statements. I've talked about assertiveness versus um, um, passive or aggressive, excuse me. So, and just giving you some examples. So, I hope because I've been doing these shorts, Mr. Ray, I'm coming with the long, so consider this live as a long. And thank you all for your encouragement, your support with this um, means of communication for me that the Lord has asked me to do, really to support and encourage um, those who are watching. So, just as a housekeeping, this is for educational purposes. Yes, Henry loves when I say that. And yet, I want you to know I'm hoping this is creating a conversation for you that you are having with your community, whoever that may be, and that it's helping you to start assessing yourself. So I like to encourage individuals to assess themselves. I'm going to be sharing something tonight that I was not planning to share. Have this nice like card I started writing, and I have more to say than this, but I started here, and I hope to get there. But if I don't get there, it's fine. I feel like I want to start with grief. Yes, good grief. Woo. So, grief is a level of sadness that we can feel, and it can be related to the death of someone we love, death of even pets can hold a very important place in our lives. Sadness can come about from trauma, from loss of job, income, lifestyle, even thinking that your life is supposed to look a certain way and it's not. Um, so I want to just bring up a couple of things, the stages. And I was really blessed that last week I got to go to a chat and chew at my church regarding grief, and the person, Sister Katrina, who presented last week so well, actually went over the stages. And I always, for myself, when I am assisting individuals with grief, I like to start by defining things. And for me, defining means the stages. So I am actually going to read them because I always like to make sure I don't miss out on anything. So there are 5 stages of grief that Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross brought to us, and yet someone who studied under her came with 7 stages. I usually go with the 5, and I'm going to read them, give you an example. You can go back and look at. I have a video on this that's more extensive, but I want to bring this to us because it seems like since the pandemic, there's been such a great loss in our communities, and even in our own lives personally. And so it is important for us to keep this conversation going, because without keeping the conversation going, it could actually, we risk falling into a greater feeling of depression, isolation, and some other things that come along with depression. Keep in mind, depression does not have to be clinical. It can be clinical, and it can be diagnosed by someone who's licensed, such as myself, to do so. Um, Not everyone who has depression needs medication, yet I would ask you to let your provider work with your provider to come up with that. Some individuals are able to do talk therapy, which is also counseling, what I do. And for some individuals, that's enough for them. And yet, others may benefit from some medication. And it's okay to ask um, for a second opinion, as well as to ask how they came up with the diagnosis. We have something called a DSM, and it changes, it gets updated um, every so many years. There's no specific time, but Diagnostic Statistical Manual, and it has symptoms in it. And for depression, it would have to be over a 2-week period. I ask individuals not to diagnose yourself or others, but you can assess yourself with the symptoms. So for depression, it's eating too much or too little, sadness, low mood, not having interest in things you would normally be interested in, eating too much or too little, things such as that. So thank you. I see someone has joined us. So I'm going over the 5 stages of grief. So denial is one stage, or excuse me, yes, one of the stages. This can't be happening. 2, anger. Why is this happening to me? 3, bargaining. I will do anything to change this. Depression, which I was just speaking about. What's the point of going on after this loss? 5, acceptance. I know what happened and I can't change it. Now I need to cope. So, as I was stating, I want to just go over a little bit about grief. Grief keeps coming up. It's like whether you look at the news, whether you're looking at your own life, whether it's loss of a job, whether it's loss of a lifestyle, a marriage, um, how you thought things would be, a home, a, an automobile. We had a neighbor, unfortunately, recently who had a theft. Their automobile was stolen. And so grief can affect us in different ways, though. So please don't compare yourself to someone else. So their grief may look different than yours. And sometimes for males, um, their grief, their depression may show up as anger. And I ask us to identify what our anger is attached to, so that we're not just saying, I'm so angry. We're actually, again, assessing ourselves, educating ourselves so that we can better manage or regulate our moods. These are things affect us. And so as we keep the conversation going, as I said, I went to a chat and chew on grief last week at my church. It was a good start to a ongoing conversation. And so I want you to understand, if you're going to a grief support group, if you're talking to a friend, a neighbor, a spouse, a mate, a sibling, whoever you may be speaking to, that may be the beginning of the conversation. We have a wonderful resource in Maryland, several actually. Roberta's House is a wonderful resource for grief in the Baltimore area. We have Gilcrest, again, and some of our funeral homes are also giving us information. So, again, I want you to recognize if you are dealing with grief, if you feel like you would benefit from talking to someone, a professional, because there's some things, yes, you can start in a support group, but if you're recognizing that you're continuing to feel sad, you're continuing to not be sure what's going on with you, that things are changing so much, it may be time to call a professional counselor, a licensed professional counselor, or a licensed social worker who actually can help you with talking about the grief and giving you a safe place to express yourself. I just was listening to a recording from Crystal Evans Hurst today, and she had someone on um, her show, a Dr. Thomas. I wrote his name down. I'm going to bring that to us. I was not familiar with him, but I will be looking him up. Um, his presentation was so wonderful. It was so inviting. Grief is difficult, and it's hard on us. It's so hard that we don't even want to talk about it, if at all. So hold on, don't leave me. We're going to shift from this, but I wanted to start with this because I want you to open up the conversation, um, and to consider getting some help. And if you feel like you need more help, don't forget that 988 is an excellent resource. I'm reaching for something. So if you feel like you need to talk to someone and things are really difficult for you, please don't be ashamed or embarrassed. And that's what this particular individual on Crystal's program was talking about. That sometimes we actually have feelings of shame or guilt around our feelings, and that may not be a good person to talk to. If you get to the point where you feel like someone's shaming you because of how you're feeling, that please hear me again, that may not be the right person for you to talk to, because our feelings are our feelings. And it's very important for us to find a safe place for us to share our feelings, a safe individual to share our feelings with. And so, for those of you who have some form of insurance, or blessed, I should say, to have some form of insurance, you can start to find someone to speak with, a counselor, by going to your insurance provider. Some individuals may go online and put in a zip code and come up with a therapist. Some individuals may actually call their insurance provider and say, can you give me the name of some providers in my area? People of faith may ask for a Christian uh, therapist. These are things you can ask for. Some individuals may ask for a someone who is looks like them, meaning you may want a therapist who, if you happen to be African American, or however you're identifying, you may want someone who identifies the same way so that you feel like they're like-minded, or that you're comfortable with sharing with this individual. So I hope you can see I have my information over here. So for those of you who may not know, I started my own company. I am seeing individuals through Care First, and did take a part-time opportunity while I'm really working on my business, hoping to work with not just individuals, but couples. I love doing group work, and will let you know I'll be going out to do some speaking to individuals about mental health, because I am a mental health counselor. And I do love what I do. So thank you again for all of your support and encouragement and joining today. So, again, if you recognize you're dealing with grief of some sort, please ask for help. Please talk to someone. Talk to your community. It's important for each of us to have a support system. And yet, if you recognize you're in crisis, and what I mean by that, if you recognize that your sadness is going a little longer, um, and depending on the intimate level of the loss of the individual or the thing or the situation. Um, it may be actually taking you a little longer to get to or back to yourself. I always encourage individuals by reminding us that the good thing is many of us have um, lived experiences. And I love that my recovery community calls it that. All of us have lived experiences, meaning we didn't just show up. We're not like a newborn baby. And we can go back to where things were working well for us. So keep in mind, um, go back to that place where you saw that, hey, I was working my routines. Nicole and I are working on our routines and holding each other accountable. I check in with individuals who are in my community from time to time to say, what are you working on? It's a good question for us to ask each other so that if we're feeling stuck, if we're feeling discouraged, disappointed, it's a good way of getting back to that place where it was working well. So, whatever your routines are, again, I have a video on that. Go to my channel, irisheath.love to help, and put in routines. I have one on the 5 a.m. routine. And doesn't mean you have to start at 5 a.m., but it gives you good information about routines. So, regarding the grief, I wanted to share with you because I want you to be real comfortable with seeing someone. Um, Recently, I went to a therapist and I actually started therapy last week because I feel like I'm in crisis. Meaning, um, years ago, my cousin Diego told us um, when you get past a certain age, you're going to start experiencing a lot of death in your life. And I didn't know what he was talking about. I'm like, why would you say that? So I'm not sure that it's so much where I am in my life as much as it is the world. And so I'm noticing I lost a really close friend last year. We've lost several family members, even since the pandemic. And my church, oh my goodness, so many people who've been very important in my life. And I recognized last year um, that I needed to go and actually talk to someone. And as a counselor myself, I advocate for counseling. And so I saw the need for me not just to, I have a community and I'm really grateful for having a community. And yet I recognized I needed more. And this is what I want you to understand the need when we are in a state of crisis. You've lost someone close to you. Someone recently shared with me they lost a family member who they talked to every single day. It's impossible to lose someone who has that impact on your life and not seek out additional help. And so I want to encourage you in that. So um, consider, consider. And so it was really helpful. This person reminded me of a resource, Grief Share. And so um, I will actually leave a few things afterwards because I'm probably gonna bring up several things, and I wanna make sure I don't leave anything out. But Grief Share is an organization, and you can go online and Google them. They actually have grief support groups that you can attend. Since the pandemic, I'm not sure if you have to attend them in person. There's still a lot that you can get online. So keep in mind, this is something that may help you with supporting you in your grief. And so um, that was something that was brought to my attention, the need for coping skills. I am really big on self care, really big on coping skills. So, those are things that I continue to do, and I encourage others to do it also. So, one of the coping skills is journaling. So, please make sure that you're taking some time. It doesn't have to be a lot of time. Sheila, um, who happens to be my cousin, and yet she's also been an important part in my life, has a sister chat that the Lord led her to start. I didn't realize. I think she said it's been 7 years. Oh my goodness. Ooh, okay. There's definitely some completion in that. So it's one of my communities that I attend, and she encourages us to write something down at the end of each day so that we can really, it's almost like a debriefing at the end of the day to take a few minutes. So whether you're doing this each day or not, I want to encourage you. So I want to remind you of a few coping skills. One of my sisters, Tressa, gave me this. Oh my goodness, for my birthday last year. Whew. And so this is like a tension roller. And so I really want you to work on, and when I say work on, I mean really work on your self care. Not just to have things lying around, but I want you to actually do them. I actually also have a few scents here, and I have videos on this, but I just want to remind you this is lavender. Ooh. I also have peppermint and a few other essential oils. Um, so you get to choose your brand, but I want you to be doing these things. So there's some controversy about this one. So if it's not for you, don't do it. Um, this is white noise. Now I have it. Can you hear that? I have it because working and what I do, sometimes I might need to actually make sure that I'm protecting the privacy of my client. So, but you can actually use this. Some people use this to help them sleep. Some people will use this to help them with just relaxing. Okay. And I actually got this for Christmas. And so, again, keep increasing your self care, please. I see that yes, grief is hard to talk about, but I really did feel led to bring it. So, because my producer asked me not to go a full hour, I'm going to just be doing 45 minutes. I'm actually going to shift from grief, and I want you still to consider what I'm asking you to look at. So, I wanted to talk to you about Monday. Yes, Monday. What does Monday mean to you? I had an aunt, a great aunt, Aunt Mamie, who I loved so much. And she actually used to call Monday Blue Monday. And so I want to encourage you to come up with a positive way of seeing Monday. Today is Monday. When I started my YouTubes, I actually started it as Mental Health Monday. I sort of forgot that, but the other day I was looking through some videos and I realized I was doing Mental Health Monday and Self Care Friday. So I want you to actually intentionally, our church is working on intentionality. And so I want you to intentionally make Monday a positive start of your week. Okay. And so let me give you an example. So I'd like you to leave me some comments if you feel comfortable, but again, keeping it brief so that you protect your actual identity. So again, I'm asking you to think about Monday positively. In my business, I stopped to think about how can I see Monday so that I can stay in this positive frame of mind. So I decided personally to make Monday my creativity day. And so for me, Monday is a day to create. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about it because I want to challenge you to consider doing the same. You don't have to make it a creativity day for you, but if that works for you, great. So, all right. So I did put about the power of our words. So the power of life and death. The Bible tells us lie in our tongue. So if we're saying something negative, I know I've been corrected by others, and I always appreciate when they do it to remind me if I'm speaking a thing. Um, eh, I could be speaking it into existence. Our church, our pastor had us do a declaration yesterday, so I got my release and I'm believing it and walking in it, refusing to go back to that thing that was keeping me stuck and feeling that level of pressure that I was feeling. So, again, I wanted to ask you if you really believe that power of life and death lie in our tongue. Is that something that you practice? Is that something that you believe in your life? Not just as it relates to Monday, but as it relates to everything in your life, every area, whatever that area may be. Okay. So, um, let's see here. Okay. So I'm just I want to make sure I don't forget anything. So, Monday, I have here. Yes. I wanted to apologize to Mr. Ray. I wrote that down in my notes because Mr. Ray's been asking me to do lives. So I hope he sees this or to do long form videos. And so I hope he sees this live as a long form. I'm gonna come with something else. And thank you all for your patience as I am working through my when I was part of Impact Creator Society, ICS for short, they encouraged me to write down what I'm going to be covering each month. So I've started doing like the preachers do. I've come up um, prayerfully about a topic that I hear, see, and then I get information, bring it to us. I've been doing it in the form of shorts. I know that people's time is very it's limited. We're so busy. It seems like time is on wings and it's just flying away. So I'm hoping that the shorts have been a blessing to you, and I thank you for watching them. So I already told you about this and how I'm working on a creativity day. And Friday is my marketing and paperwork day because you got to get that into in a business. Um, so it all has to get done. We know that in your home. I'm starting to realize I have to tidy. Marie Kondo calls it tidying. Um, my minimalists are calling it decluttering. Oh my goodness, Dr. Lynn Richardson, she has something that she was like really on it about decluttering. And Joshua Becker or someone else I from time to time follow. He actually has been talking about this. So keep in mind, if your space seems to be cluttered, um, my understanding is it could mean that you have a lot going on in your life. Not to, I appreciate One of my sisters, Adana, reminded me that our need to be kind, and I agree, to ourselves, with ourselves. And so, not to judge ourselves harshly. I don't know about you, but many of us have grown up either in environments, whether it was in our homes, whether it was in church, whether it was in jobs, whether it was in certain relationships where people have not been uh, empathetic, understanding, kind, but they've been either rude, abusive, or not been helpful to our situation. And so I want you to practice being kind, KIND, to yourself. I hope that is something that you are doing on a consistent basis, actually. So I wanted to just make sure I covered all of this. So I really look forward to thinking up at least one new idea on Mondays. I'm really intentional about it. I wake up on Monday realizing, wow, it's Monday. And I say it out loud, this is my creativity day. And I get so excited about it. I really do. In my spirit, I'm thinking, wow, it's Monday. It's actually changed how I see Mondays because I used to see Monday in a negative way. And it's not to say I always want to jump out of bed, but my mindset now is it's positive, it's good. I'm going to have an idea today. If I get to the afternoon and I don't have an idea for my business, for my home, for my life, it can be something as simple as reorganizing my closet. It can be something as for my shoes or um, a new way of doing something for my business. Um, Coming up with an idea about who to send a note to, who to call about me coming to either speak or whatever it may be. So I want you to fill in the blank for yourself. What could be an idea that you can work on for yourself? And to actually give yourself, make it something you can measure, mean like SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable. I think it's like reliable or something. When I get to the end of it, I don't always remember them. And so, and T. So, but SMART goals always give me the impression that it's something that we can measure. It's an actual thing, an idea, and we can determine whether we accomplished it or not. That's very important. So um, keep that in mind with whatever it is that you're working on. You want to make sure. So if you're telling yourself, I'm going to walk, please make it so that it's not just general, but it's measurable. I'm going to walk at least 15 to 30 minutes at least 3 times or 3 to 5 times a week. That way, if you've done it for 3 times, you've accomplished it. If you walked 15 minutes 3 times a week with the example I just gave, you've accomplished your goal for the week. Now, and if you do more, that's fine too. But give yourself a goal that's achievable. That way, you're building and boosting your confidence. You're helping so that you feel better about making the goals. So, I have down here looking at my time. Don't want to be like I don't want to be like my pastor and someone else the other day told me I had 2 minutes. Oh, Minister Brenda on Sister Chat. Um, mm, I almost got cut off with what I was telling them. So let's see here. Thank you. So I think I actually covered everything that was on here. I do want to find out from you. My producer always asks me to check with you. What would you like me to talk about? Is there something I haven't covered? Um, As I said, I already know what we're going to be talking about for the rest of the month. I have not gotten to the next look for my video on Friday. I believe it's going to be on. Oh, it's going to come to me. Oh, are we making a request or are we demanding something from someone? So there is a difference. It's a communication style or language. Someone actually presented music as a communication style. And I thought, wow, I hadn't thought of that one. So, no, I'm not going to be talking about that one this time, but I am putting it down for another time. I have not gotten to empathy. I might get to, it depends, curiosity, listening skills. Um, so, I hope you've had a chance during the month of March to listen to some of the communication styles, body language. What does that say about you if that's how you're showing up? And so sometimes let's just check the mirror. Let's just look and see what it looks like and what how do I look to someone who's looking at me. Those of you who are just getting on, thank you so much for coming. You can actually go back and look at the replay. And today we were talking a little bit about grief. Yes, it's hard to talk about grief, but I really wanted to bring it to us. And Monday, how do you see Monday? So, so again, for the rest of the month, I'm going to be still bringing some communication skills. I've done some I statements. I've done some other things. For next month, I picked up this book called Strength Finder. I thought, wow, this is good. And I also want to bring boundaries to us. So unless something changes, that'll be the next upcoming months. So the Strength Finder book is talking about how it's important for us to look at our strengths and put some time and energy into that, as opposed to always looking at our negative thoughts, negative ideas, how things have come about. I'm a big believer in being positive and looking at our positive self talk. And yet, I believe it's very important for us to be real about where we are. Yeah, I was looking for I do have, I've got all these props. I'm sorry. See, this is the benefit of being in your home. My home office has all kinds of goodies in here. So I believe in keeping it real. Even as a woman of faith, my faith is so important to me. I love the Lord. I love his word. I love what he teaches me. And yet, I believe because he loves me, he wants my heart to be real, to be pure, for me to be able to find a safe space, to be able to say what I need to say, to be able to get what I call all the junk out of my heart. So if I've had disappointments, if I've had pain, if I've had, as I mentioned earlier, I've had some great losses. And I made a conscious decision to go talk to someone about it so that I can be free. I do this work and it's very important. It's my gift. And I want to show up free or freer. I just believe as a sinner saved by grace, I'm still going to have some junk attached to me. It's just, it keeps me needing the Lord. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. And yet he doesn't want me to just continue to stay in everything. He actually shows me. I sense that it's time, Iris. It's time for you to deal with this. He'll like just he'll drop someone in my space, he'll drop a situation, he'll whatever it is. And I recognize or something will keep showing up and I'll say, "Okay, Lord, really? What is this? What is this?" And sometimes I just don't want to deal with it. But I'm grateful because the Lord loves me so much, and I wanna tell you, He loves you so much too. He loves you so much too. He's gonna give you whatever it is that you stand in the need of. So, I'm grateful that He doesn't make me deal with all of my stuff at once. He gives me time to process it, time to even be aware of it. Sometimes initially, I don't even know what's going on. I'm like, "Wait a minute, like, what happened? Like, did someone, like, pull the blanket from under me?" And so sometimes those feelings come up, and then I'm talking to my support system. So I do wanna encourage you, strongly encourage you. Please look at your support systems, and, um and I told you I was gonna give you this individual's name. I have a new look, I started a new planner. It's even bigger. Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. I just got this last week because I realized, I have so much to do. I needed to have more spaces to write, down what I'm working on and create a checklist for myself. But I wanna give you this name before I go. So, thank you all again for your sacrifice of time. I don't take it lightly. So the individual's name, who was on Crystal, thank you. His name is Dr. Kurt, C-U-R-T, Thompson, Thompson. I just got introduced to him today on Crystal Evan Hirsch program, and how he was presenting grief, life, I really appreciate it. So again, I want to honor your time, and my producer asked me to cut it today, not to go a whole hour. So continue to be blessed. I hope that you're walking away with something. Again, if you're in the Maryland area and you do not know me, I would be honored, and you have Care First, or if you want to pay out of pocket, I'd be honored to walk with you. If I do know you, I'd be honored to help you find someone, so to refer you to someone. So my business number is 443 429 0021. So again, I'd be honored to, if I do know you, again, I'd be honored to help you find someone. But if I don't know you and you feel like I would be someone who could help you with something that you're dealing with, thank you, Adana, for reminding me to use this platform. So continue to be blessed, and I look forward to seeing you next time. All right, be well, everyone, and know you can do this. You really can. When I'm saying it, I really believe you can do this, and I hope you do too. Bye.